Sunil, I don't know if you've heard, but AI is a big thing these days. We're recording this in the middle of June. So whenever this airs, it may be drastically different.
I suppose, but I've been trying to think longer term about what are the true implications of some of this newfangled technology that we're seeing.
One of the things I kind of like about ChatGPT is that they actually built some level of controls, not perfect, but some level of controls that doesn't allow it to run away, if you will. But you have some sort of other philosophies on essentially how to imbue proper use.
The three challenges are how our employees use AI,
Sure.
how employees build AI,
Okay.
and then how we in security leverage AI. And I think,
Build, use, and leverage. Got
right, what are more interesting are three opportunities. So CFOs, what are CFOs in charge of? They're in charge of the wise and appropriate use of money. And if they said, nope, you can't spend any money, well, you might as well fire the CFO.
Right.
What if intellectual property were a form of currency? What
Good
if
theory.
CISOs were the CFO for IP, and we govern the wise and appropriate use of IP? So our employees have this incredible desire to spin this IP. What can we do to be the proper CFO for IP?
If I'm putting something sensitive into the system, and now it becomes part of the system that could be extracted by anyone.
The fact that I spend money, and that money may somehow circulate to somebody else who has that money that maybe is a competitor of mine. Okay, again, I'm spending that money for the purposes of making more money. And in the same way, if I'm using IP,
I see.
can I use these tools to accelerate my
So
development of IP?
you wouldn't put your crown jewels in, you would be putting things that sort of build up your investment.
So let's talk about what is a crown jewel, but a higher value denomination of IP.
Right. So you're not going to put the Coca-Cola secret recipe into it.
Perhaps, but there may be some cases where I will spend a $100 bill versus a $1 bill.
Right.
Okay. So what in our IP? What are $1 bills, and in our IP? What are $100 bills?
Right, but in the Coca-Cola recipe example, that's the highest value item we have.
Highest denomination IP that you can find, right?
Right.
Again, but still, the question is, what are the ways that we as CFOs for IP can govern the proper use of that IP? We don't create that IP, right?
Right.
But if we told all our employees, you cannot spend any of your IP, guess what should happen for a CISO? They should get fired too, just like a CFO.
What is a $1 or $100 piece of IP? Some examples you can think of.
Much of our source code.
In fact, and I understand much of everybody's source code is open source, so it is the free to $1 IP.
I think Apple made that statement one time. Even if our source code were to be completely made available and released, it would still not be an issue with them because their competitive advantage lives somewhere else.
What is a $100 piece? Which is still not that expensive, but it's of value.
Some businesses, if they actually truly lose competitive edge based on that piece of information getting immediately into some competitor's hands, then that's a higher denomination form of IP. The number of those types of IP situations are probably far more limited than most people think. There's a lot of IP that I am privy to from different parts of the ecosystem, and even if I were their competitor, I would struggle to understand how do I specifically implement this for my competitive advantage.
What you're creating here is a kind of a level of new kind of training to your staff to sort of extract more value so they can, I guess, explore, create new things, be more innovative.
A CFO for money has a certain set of fiduciary responsibilities for the appropriate and wise use of that money.
Same thing for the CISO,
Same for the CISO. So I'm not necessarily saying the CISO should allow someone to just wantonly
No,
spend.
but it's like, you have someone in control of petty cash. To a certain amount, we'll let you kind of play.
Within certain limits, right?
Right.
But if you're going to spend $10,000, $100,000,
you need to get a sign off from the CISO.
That's right. And let's understand what that IP looks like and make sure that truly is a $1 million bill and not just a $1 bill.
Sunil, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.